Hello, everybody. My name is Vyacheslav, and this is our project one for entrepreneurship. And my team is myself, Andrea, Carolina, Paul, Fernando, Caio, and Christopher. So to talk about the background of the entrepreneur we have interviewed, his name is Miguel Reyes. He's from Guatemala, and he is a chemical engineer. He has he had his working experience in many Latin American countries such as Panama, Honduras, and Dominican Republic. He had 22 years of experience in sales in Avon Cosmetics Company and currently is a sales manager in Danone Guatemala. And in 2016, he started his own company called Royal Stars GTSA in Guatemala.
Hello, I am Carol Sansegundo, and I'm doing the part of opportunity identification, answering to the question, how did the entrepreneur identify the business opportunity? So I believe that what pushed Miguel to start his own company was because of the country situation. The rate of unemployment in Guatemala was and still is very high. So his idea was not only creating a company for himself, but also for others. This means giving opportunities and providing new jobs to people. When he was working for Danone, he had contacts that now he's using them in order to be the distributor of Royal Stars GT SA, his company, for the brands. Being able to take products such as milk, yogurts, and stuff to Guatemala. He did just the same for cookware. Working as a wholesaler, he sells cheaper to companies and to new entrepreneurs in order so they can have their own companies, be Miguel the distributor of the products.
Now we go to entrepreneurial process. Assess the process the entrepreneur used to develop the business. So the first thing that Miguel did in order to develop his business was to have the actual products, meaning the non-products, Kellogg's, and Royal Prestige products, which are the kitchenware. The second thing is to have a brochure of the different products. This is important so that he could have all of the different products in one place and offer them to the public. The third step is to develop a sales force. This is very crucial, and also to have the right sales manager. This person is in charge of finding other sellers, highly qualified sellers, in order to sell the products in a good way. And the fourth thing is to develop a process with the delivery of the products. This means the delivery from the warehouse to the house-to-house products. Critical successes and failures in entrepreneurial experience. So the successes that Miguel experienced was, the first thing, he had the correct suppliers. As I already mentioned, he had good contacts. So with the good contacts, he was able to gain the best products. The second one is to have a good team. This is very important because you have to work with these persons all of the day, hand to hand. And the third thing is the opportunity of jobs. This means that for him, the success of his company was based on him giving the opportunity of other people to create their own jobs or their own businesses. And then for failures that he experienced, the first one is that as an entrepreneur, you are always learning. This means that no matter where you are at the point of your company, you always learn something new. The second thing is the difficulty with cash flow and operating margin. He said that at the beginning, the first few years, he had negative operating margin, but then he gained positive operating margin later to the last 2 years of his company. And the third thing is that a process of how to reduce costs and expenses. This is something that he always says that he always tries to do. This is very important and very difficult for an entrepreneur to accomplish. What could an entrepreneur have done differently to reduce the risk? So the first thing that Miguel said was slow down the process. This is because many entrepreneurs are used to want to see great results with high profits. This is not the case for an entrepreneur. So they have to slow down the process and trust in the process in order to gain profit. The second thing is to create various business models. This means it is important that before starting the business, you have to test all of the different models that there are in order to test if they work with the right products and with the right target market.
Hello, my name is Christopher Miranda, and I'll be explaining the measuring success slide. Let's go with the question. Is the venture successful? And the answer is quite simple. Yes. The reason why is divided into two different ways. For instance, we have the first one, which is the big brands featurings. As we know, the company works with Silk, Kellogg's, and many other titans of the food industry nowadays. And the second one talks about how he really is. He is a guy which goes beyond the profit of the company. He cares about the well-being of the people who surround him, thus making him a successful guy and a true leader. And the next question is, has the entrepreneur given up anything by choosing his career path? What we got from the interview is that, as we know, an entrepreneur life sometimes may be lonely, but he has managed to cover it perfect because he has managed to get a balance between professional and a personal career. He has achieved some momentum in his career, but at the same time, he has managed to share some time with his family or performing some hobbies such as sports.
Hello, my name is Paul Martino, and today myself and Fernando will be presenting the assessment part. So the question asked are the following. Will you invest in this venture and will you work for this entrepreneur? So as you can see, here are the pros and cons of investing in a venture, in a startup. So first of all, in the pros, so a startup has more investment options, meaning that you don't have to buy shares at first, and you can buy different options of the company before they become shares. You also have less funds to invest because it's a smaller company, so you can just so it's less risky because you don't have to put as much money into your investment, and it has a big potential of a great growth because a startup that works will have them their numbers can just double in a few months, so it can be very profitable to invest in a startup, and you will also feel more involved. um, when I say this, I mean that because it's a smaller company, your shares have way more impact on the company than when it's for a big corporation. Then the cons, so on the other side, it's harder to predict the evolution of the company because if the business doesn't work, it can go bankrupt in a few months. So there is a bit of risk, and I guess you have to feel when you want to invest in a startup. It also there is also a lack of liquidity. When I say this, it's because when you get shares of a startup, you're not going to be able to trade them because a startup will not be publicly listed at first. So you need to wait for the company to do well and to grow to then be publicly listed and then be able to trade your shares. And so I think I would love to invest in Miguel's startup, just because I think it's a pretty safe investment. It's a business that works, and because he has so much experience, and I would love to work with him because of all the contact he has, and he works with the big companies. So I think it would be very interesting.
Hello, I'm Fernando Cabrera, and now I'm going to do the part of assessment with Paul. Well, the question that I had is, based on what you have learned from this person, do you believe you could be a successful entrepreneur? Explain why or why not. Well, after I saw the interview with Miguel, I believe that yes, I could be a successful entrepreneur because he showed us that with hard work, you can get to big opportunities, big success. That's what we all want when we start a business. And yeah, he had put a lot of work into it. He was working a lot with the enterprise and with managing it. Also, he told us that there's a lot of risk and sacrifices, because there always is. For example, the sacrifices he personally had was that he had less family time and he had less personal time, like with with his family, and also with the sports and things he used to like and he also likes. Also, he told us that failure only makes us learn more, and that is one thing that really got me, because even if you fail in one entrepreneurship business, then the next one you're gonna have the all the knowledge you need to build a successful one. And that's why I think I could be an successful entrepreneur. As well as he had a lot of jobs before that, and experience is key, at least in entrepreneurship. To have experience in it, to learn from it, it's key. So yeah, the answer is yes, I think I could be a successful entrepreneur based on what I've learned from Miguel.
Now I'm going to be talking about some insights we had from the interview. Okay, so the most surprising quote. When asked the question about identifying business opportunities around 1 minute 35 seconds into the video, Mr. Reyes answered with, yes, in Latin America, there are big opportunities because a lot of people, they don't have a job. So if you start a company where you're looking not only for money for yourself, but if you're looking to be a company that will help people, this is an important thing. This quote is interesting because it highlights a common concept often overlooked by entrepreneurs. Help your community, and in turn, they're going to help you. Okay, so the most important lesson learned, I would say, is that you must be patient when starting your business, make business models and predictions beforehand, before you start a business, and it might not profit at first, but you need to stay consistent.